everybody. Today with me I have Senator Jeremy England. We're so glad to have you today.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Glad to be here.
Yes, of course. So today we're going to be talking about House Bill 401, which basically has to do with electric vehicles and their manufacturers. So can you start off kind of just by telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what the bill does essentially is it would limit manufacturers such as Tesla, who will come to Mississippi and set up their own LLC in order to set up a showroom or even maybe a dealership. It limits them from being able to do that. So what that's called is a wholly owned subsidiary of a manufacturer. And typically in Mississippi, in the past, what you've seen are your traditional dealers from your more traditional manufacturers, your Toyotas, your Chevrolets. They set up a franchisee system where they have a franchise with a dealer that then distributes the vehicles to the consumer. And those in Mississippi, if you're a manufacturer, you can't set up a direct, you can't set up your own dealership. You have to go through some other entity like that. So Tesla, who uses a completely different sales model than what we're typically used to, or what I guess most people are used to when they go to purchase a vehicle, they're coming here, they're setting up a wholly owned subsidiary company to where they can show vehicles, do a showroom, allow people to test drive these new vehicles, which are brand new. They're things that people don't really know much about, and then have a vehicle there for them to purchase. But a lot of your automobile dealers, your more traditional automobile dealers in Mississippi, don't like that. They want to have to. They want Tesla and Rivian and these other up and coming companies to have to use their sales model as opposed to the one that seems to work for these electric vehicle manufacturers.
Yeah, the way that I've kind of read, sum up on it, is Tesla, they don't necessarily need that third-party dealership because people who buy electric cars don't need oil changes and the kinds of maintenances that a lot of dealerships do, and so they just sell their cars differently. And so this bill kind of just makes it to where if you want to sell a car in Mississippi, you have to go through a dealership and not through the manufacturer, correct?
That's correct, yeah, that's what they're wanting to do. And look, under the law currently, they can do this. They're able to do this. So this new bill is seeking to, kind of close that option off to them and make them have to come in and use the dealer franchisee model. And it's just not something that works for them. And it's something they're not being forced to do in other states, which is what worries me. Because if we start closing markets down in Mississippi, we're really going to be behind and leave ourselves out on, potentially new jobs, new manufacturers coming in, new suppliers. We would really be stepping backwards, in my opinion, instead of moving forward if HB 401 passes.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem very free market, in my opinion. We in Mississippi, a lot of us claim to be conservative, and we're we want to bring in new jobs and new innovation into our state. But this bill makes it to where a lot of these EV companies like Tesla would be pushed across state lines into other places that don't have these kind of regulations.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's completely anti-free market. It's a protectionist measure. And look, if you want to see that directly, these other more traditional dealers and more traditional manufacturers are wanting to tell Tesla, look, you can set up as many service stations as you want, or as many service mechanic shops as you want to. We just don't want you selling them using your dealer model.
So they don't work like that.
Right, which is textbook definition of protectionism and closing off the market. And one thing I found interesting, this is our second year to deal with this. So the bill died in conference last year. And it got way closer than it ever should have, but it died in conference last year, and there were, I think, 5 other states that were looking to open up their markets, because the way our law is written that allows for this to happen is called an open market. If a state doesn't allow it, they're what's known as a closed market. Well, we were the only state in the United States that was looking to close an open model. All these other states are looking to open their closed models. So they see, they see what they're doing, and they're looking to move forward. And if we open this market, if we're friendly to these companies, and look, we're not saying you have to buy an electric vehicle. I don't own an electric vehicle. I think they're too expensive right now. I'm not sure if I believe in the technology, but I do think that's what's coming. And look, just like televisions and microwaves and cell phones, if you allow the market to start reacting to these and you start letting folks sell, you're going to see prices come down, and you're going to be able to, you're going to be able to purchase. It's more consumer friendly, it's more company friendly, it's definitely more innovative, more job friendly, and so we definitely don't need to take a step backwards.
Yeah, it's just EVs, this is a growing business, and we need to adapt with the times.
That's right.
So we just don't need, I feel like we don't need to create this law, because it would just push people over state lines, and it would just, I guess, prohibit new innovation in our state rather than bringing it in. So.
Oh yeah, it absolutely would. If you can, if you can't have one of these, showrooms or dealerships in DeSoto County, you're going to see them in Memphis. If you can't have one down on the Gulf Coast, you're going to see them in Mobile or New Orleans. And we're just going to drive consumers away. And if we're driving consumers away, we're not showing that we're open to this type of market. Well, look, you've got battery production that comes from this. You've got different all kind of different suppliers. You even got the manufacturers that are looking to move around to states. And when you put all the states together, sometimes it's a very small reason why they choose to go one place rather than the other. And we don't need to give any manufacturers, or especially in the high tech world that we're in, we don't need to give them any excuses not to locate to Mississippi.
Absolutely. So you kind of talked about how this is the second year that people are pushing this bill. It died last year in conference. Can you kind of talk about like the status of the bill now, what committee it's in, what the process going forward would look like for it?
Yeah, sure. So last year we didn't get the bill until later, and we got it into our finance. On the Senate, we have the finance committee. Our counterpart in the House is known as the Ways and Means Committee. So Ways and Means sent it to us. We got it in finance. We had a few amendments to it. It went back to the House, and they didn't agree to it, so it went into conference, right? Well, right now, and look, we're only in, we're about to start week 3 or 4. Still very early in the legislative session, and we've already got this bill out of Ways and Means. So that means it was dropped over there, it was taken up by the committee, it was passed on the House floor, and it was sent to us very quickly. And there's a reason why it's moving quickly. The more questions you ask, especially in what is a Republican supermajority legislature, and you've got a bill that's going to close off a certain industry and tell consumers, we're sorry, we know this new sales model's out there, we're going to shut it down here in Mississippi. The more you get that information out, the harder it is to pass a bill like this.
So do you think that it's going to make it out of Senate Finance, and do you...
Look, I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
I'll vote against it, and I think we'll see some amendments. And look, I'm not sure there's not a compromise position that allows that would allow for the purpose of the bills where dealers that currently have franchises with the manufacturer, that will allow them to continue that sales model, because we don't want to go tell them what to do either, and then also allow these EVs to come through. But if it does make it out of finance, I don't want to see this fast tracked. I don't want to see it hit the Senate floor and we're taking it up quickly. I want us to talk about it. I want to have a chance to talk with my colleagues that are also conservatives. Because there's a lot of us, especially right now, election time. We're all conservative Republicans, but we've got to make sure that when it comes to policy and issues like this, that we're not setting a bad precedent and passing bad law. And I think the reason, Tyler, that we're seeing this, we all come from hometowns that have a hometown automobile dealer, right? And they all have been told that this is, the most important bill in their profession's history. They've got to pass this bill to help themselves out, essentially to protect them from any competition coming in or from anything bad happening to their industry. We all love our automobile dealers. They're economic drivers. We see, when you put up like out here on I-55, you have dealers, and you have just the businesses that come with those are kind of like an anchor to attract more. Well, if we open this up to EVs, I think we're going to have a different anchor, and we're going to have a different type of industry opening up to it. The younger generation is more prone to understand and appreciate an electric vehicle. So shoot, this might help brain drain even if we kill this law and allow these folks to come in and do business here in the state.
Absolutely. You mentioned wanting to talk to your constituents about this. What can, just the average Mississippian do to try to get involved if they have opinions? What can they do to just, get involved in this bill? Right.
So number one, pay attention and do so quickly, because like I said, this might be moving through the system pretty rapidly. And again, that's one reason that's done sometimes, to keep people from getting involved. So if Mississippians want to have a free market and they don't want to shut out, they want us to see us be a true capitalist state that's open to new industries and new sales models, contact our senator. They can follow you guys on Facebook. They can follow other groups like Americans for Prosperity. And any big conservative think tank or big conservative policy group is going to be against this bill. And so they can follow those and support those groups, but certainly let your senator and your representatives and our state leadership know that we don't want to do this. Whether we like electric vehicles or not, we're not here to tell them you can or cannot sell here. Let them come into the market. If they fail, if Mississippians overwhelmingly reject electric vehicles and don't go purchase them, well, the market will take care of itself. But we don't need to take care of we don't need to stick our hands in the market from that Capitol building.
I totally agree. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's kind of all I have. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
I just hope that I hope we're able to defeat this bill. I really do. I was told when I first came to the Senate, I'll spend my first term learning how to pass bills, and then the rest of the time up here learning how to kill bad bills. Well, this is a bad bill, so I'm jumping right in head first, and I hope we can defeat this. I appreciate the help you guys are offering on this.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in and chatting with me today.
Yep. Thank you, Tyler.
Awesome. Thank you.